ASU stands alone at the top of the Pac-12 South after knocking off Utah in overtime 19-16 here at Sun Devil Stadium on Saturday night. That's Chris Cartman of ASUDevils.com. I'm Jared Cohen of Sports 360 AZ. And Chris, it was a wild game, kind of a roller coaster of a game, but they were able to get it done. Zane Gonzalez kicks the big field goal in overtime for the win.
Two great field goal kickers in this one. And it just so happened that Utah's kicker, after making some long kicks earlier he had 17 of 19 coming into the game. He misses in overtime, and Zane Gonzalez, who really kind of is a different personality type. He's got like that ice water in his veins. Nothing really seems to make the radar blip go. But he just, stone cold assassin made it, and ASU celebrates a hard-fought win. Utah's won all the games like that to this season for it, so maybe it was due to lose a game like this, and ASU at home, it was able to come out on top. Yeah.
Now, we mentioned a roller coaster of a game. The offense drives down the field, but then has to settle for field goals. Then the offense completely stalls out. But players stepped up. They were still able to get it done, but it was kind of a weird game offensively for ASU against a very good defense.
Yeah, in the first half, they were averaging about 10 yards a carry. Demario Richard was doing well. Kalen Balazs had a few good reps. DJ Foster, and they were had 3 or 4 guys. And they didn't have great balance, but Taylor Kelly threw for over 100 yards in the first half, 50% completions. I think he honed in too much on Jalen Strong, just was really trying to predetermine and force the ball to Jalen Strong, which caused some problems. But Utah also was a very good defense. They were getting pressure, and then as the game unfolded, Utah had 1 sack in the first half. Second half, they did much better. They came into the game leading the country with 5 sacks per game, and a lot of pressure was getting to Taylor Kelly, and I think that had him to where he was a little bit on edge and maybe not making some of the right decisions. But at the end of the day, he had some nice runs on their last drive that enabled them to kind of get into position. And, he had a couple big throws that he made, and he did enough, put it that way.
Chris, this defense has made huge strides. I mean, do you look at the UCLA game and even the USC game, they struggled for a majority of that game. And it's one thing to be good against Stanford's offense and Washington's offense. Both have struggled this season. It's another to be good against this Utah offense. Devontae Booker's been one of the best, if not the best, running back in the Pac-12 this season. They were able to get it done today defensively once again, and they really proved something to the rest of the conference.
Yeah, I think they really made Utah one-dimensional. There was just really nothing there in the passing game. They loaded up the box. A lot of the outside run stuff wasn't really working, so they just had to pound the ball inside and then it just wasn't enough. He's a great player. He was getting yards after contact, but they still were facing second and medium, second and long, third and medium, and it's hard to sustain drives when you don't have that other element to your game, and they just weren't able to put enough points on the board. And you got to just, for ASU's defense, I mean, from where they were at against UCLA to where they're at now is just a night and day thing. To shut out Stanford and Washington, yeah, their offenses aren't that good, but they shut them out at the half. In this game, they gave up 16 points. I mean, it's really been a night and day difference since that UCLA. And what Keith Patterson said after the game was, hey, our best football is still probably ahead of us.
And a huge game ahead. We look at the scenario. They control their own destiny now. At the top of the Pac-12, Arizona lost on Saturday night at UCLA. That puts them at 2 losses. Still the potential that the Territorial Cup can be decided on the Pac-12 South if Arizona takes care of business. But of ASU, once again, in the driver's seat, just like last season, putting themselves in an amazing situation in November.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of scenarios, like you said, but you have to like ASU's chances because Oregon State and Washington State, their next 2 opponents in the Pac-12, they're toward the bottom of the conference. And then they get Arizona. They're a game up right now. It would probably take a loss to Arizona coupled with something else happening for ASU to not end up there. And so they're in really good position.
And the only game that Chris didn't mention, Notre Dame, that's next week. It's not a Pac-12 matchup, but it should be a lot of fun here at Sun Devil Stadium next Saturday. Chris Cartman of ASUDevils.com. I'm Jared Cohen of Sports 360 AZ. Again, ASU, the winners, 19-16 over Utah.